Today's lesson is on party planning. We're going to be talking about reading as well as writing invitations. And this is part of a reading comprehension as well as our social skills awareness. We're trying to develop our interpersonal social relations, and a great way to do that is through throwing a party and hanging out with people who are at a party. So, what is a party? Well, a party is a social event meant to celebrate a special occasion, such as a birthday, a graduation, a family reunion, things like that. Parties can be both formal and informal. And the great thing about a party is that you honestly don't have to have a reason to throw a party. You can celebrate whenever. And so, because we live in a pandemic, um, having a party is a little bit trickier because previously, when you throw a party, right, you invite people to your house or to a location, you celebrate together in person. And so we're going to be talking about party planning and attending parties in the context of COVID. And so as you'll notice in this picture to the left, this is a virtual party, right? It's actually the cast of SNL, and they are doing a virtual Zoom meeting, which can be interpreted as a party because they all seem to be having fun, they're having a good time. And so we're going to talk about how to throw virtual parties. So examples of formal parties that you might attend or have heard of: quinceañeras, when women of Hispanic descent have their 15th birthday. It's a very special occasion. It's a form of like a rite of passage for them. Weddings are special formal parties where you have to dress a certain way and you have to act a certain way. And then sometimes certain themed parties can be really formal. Okay, if you have like a 1920s themed party versus a a Pride and Prejudice themed party. Okay. Now, examples of informal parties. Informal means you don't have to dress up fancy. Chances are there's not a dress code, or if there is one, it's more leisurely, and therefore you can act a little more at your discretion, right? You can be a little more comfortable. So pool parties, most birthday parties are pretty informal. Housewarming parties where you go to someone's house when they've just bought it and they're just having people over for food and some drinks. And just because parties. So if you want to throw a barbecue, if you like watching a TV show and you want to throw a themed party for that TV show's premiere, that's awesome. That's also an informal party. All right. And so, like I said, we are living in the age of COVID. And so, just in order to keep ourselves and others around us safe, we can have Zoom parties. And honestly, Zoom parties can be a lot of fun. They don't have to be the whole shebang of, we're going to dress up, we're going to play music. You can have a low key party with your close friends, right? In that top left picture, they're having some lemonade. They're just chilling on the carpet, hanging out. Perfect. That's a party. Or you could have a birthday party with your friends. You can have a dance party where someone DJs and everyone else just listens to their music and dances along. Okay, so those are all examples of parties that you could hold virtually. And there's honestly just no limit. You can do so many things virtually. It's actually pretty cool. You can connect with people that you normally probably wouldn't because of Zoom. All right, so people that don't live in the same state as you, family members who live in different countries, you can have a Zoom party with them, and that's awesome. So what's a party invitation? A party invitation is given out to individuals that you would like to attend your party. This means that your party is exclusive and not everyone can attend. In most cases, not everyone can attend, right? Just because there's constraints on location, there's constraints on food, there's constraints on activity supplies. And so for the most part, we send out party invitations so that we can prepare for and anticipate how many people will be attending, how many guests we'll have, so that we know how much food to make or buy, how many party favors to get. And so a good party invitation contains important information about the party, such as the date and the time, the location, the type of party being celebrated, as well as any other information that you would like your guests to know. Okay, so do they need to bring stuff? Is it a themed party? Things like that. So here's just a few examples of party invitations. There's a pool party, there's a glow-in-the-dark party, there's a Christmas party. Like I said, you can celebrate any number of things. If you feel like celebrating, that's awesome. Throw a party. And so there's really cool websites actually that you can utilize that will help you to generate a party invitation. Canva is a great one. Evite is another one. A lot of these websites are free to use, and they also have pre-made templates so that all you have to do is type in your party's information, and then you download it, and you can either print it to give in person, like drop off at someone's house, or you can send it digitally if you want to save paper and supplies, which is, again, a great way to go about it, especially since we are living in a pandemic. All right, so let's talk about reading and writing party invitations. 101, type of party. Your guest should be able to easily identify what type of party they're going to. This helps them to anticipate what's going to happen at the party. So make sure to include what is being celebrated directly in the title, in a place that is clearly visible, eye-catching, and that people can easily read. So if you use a kind of funny font, it might look cool, but if people can't read what's going on, that's probably not a good thing. So going for clarity, and quality is your best bet. And then regardless of whether we are going in person or virtual, we want our guests to have a good idea of what they're celebrating. So if you look at the party invitation on the bottom left corner, it says it is Connor under quarantine. Join us for a virtual party as we celebrate his 8th birthday. Okay, boom. What type of party? It's a birthday party. Who's it for? It's for Connor. Is it an in-person or virtual party? It's a virtual party. The main information about the type of party is easy to read, easy to access, which is wonderful. All right, now let's talk about location and time of party. So you've decided the reason why you're throwing a party. Great. Now you need to specify and include the location, the date, and the time that the party will take place. All right, so the location is just the address of the party. And if you're throwing a virtual party, you would want to include the Zoom link and also let the people know that this will be a virtual party. I will send you the Zoom link, or the Zoom link is included in the email or in the information below, okay? The date and time, it's just when you want your guests to show up. So just like the title of the party, you want to make sure this information is easily accessible, easy to find, so that your guests don't get lost trying to go to your party, or they don't show up on the wrong day. That would be pretty embarrassing, right? To have people show up early or late, that wouldn't be fun. Okay, dress code and other expectations. How should your party guests dress? Is it a pool party that will likely require swimsuits? Or is it an 80s themed party that will require decade themed attire like neon tights or, bangles? So when you include the dress code as well as other party expectations, such as whether guests need to bring any items with them, as well as what guests can expect at your party, this goes a long way to keeping your guests happily informed, okay? The worst thing is going to a party and not knowing what's going on. Yes, it's still fun because it's a party, but it's confusing because you're not sure what to expect, all right? And so the more you tell people, the better informed they are. And honestly, the more likely they are to respond back saying, yeah, of course I'll go. You told me all the relevant information. So some other considerations to include besides dress code are, what type of food are you going to have? Okay, will you be serving food? If so, will it be an appetizer, something small that people will snack on, or are you going to serve a full meal? This lets your guests know beforehand whether they should eat or not. The worst thing is when you go to a party and you're expecting food, or the invitation was kind of unclear, and so you're hungry, but unfortunately there's only a little bit of snacks, or there's no snacks at all. You want your guests to have a good time and to stay the full duration of the party, okay? So letting them know what kind of food you'll have is a great way for them to prepare beforehand. Do the guests need any additional items? Do they need to bring presents? Is it a themed party where they need to bring, like a certain outfit or a certain item with them? So that information should be in the invitation if you plan on expecting your guests to follow, those protocols. And then another important thing is, can guests bring other guests or their families? Is it the situation where, it's the guest only, or can they bring a plus one? Is it a kid-friendly party, or is it not a kid-friendly party? This information is really helpful for your guests so that they can plan as well. Okay, they can plan what to wear, what to bring, who to bring, things like that. And last but not least, your RSVP information. Notice that this party invitation here, the Connors virtual party, it actually doesn't have any RSVP information, which isn't great. So RSVP information, it's just your contact info, such as your email or your phone number. And this is so that guests will respond to you and let you know whether they'll be attending or not. RSVP actually comes from the French phrase, "Répondez s'il vous plaît," which means please respond. Okay, so it is an acronym, RSVP, which stands for that French phrase. And all it means is please respond, you guys. So the whole point of an invitation is to invite guests and to receive the response so that you can plan your party accordingly. So make sure that your contact information is easy to find, all right? If you're sending an evite, chances are that your contact information will already be included since you're sending it via email, and so they can respond back to your email, or they'll click a link in the virtual invitation and they can RSVP that way. But if you want them to call you, make sure to put your phone number, okay? Or if you want them to respond in person, which again, we're not really going to be doing because of COVID, you would include that. So that would be like pre-pandemic or post-pandemic. So for right now, just your phone number or email address is good.